Hello and welcome to Let's Ask the Angels on Spreaker. I'm your host, Barbara Calvano. It is my honor to serve you with guidance and messages to support you on your path of living with mastery. Hello everyone and welcome. Let's Ask the Angels now on Spreaker. And thank you all who have followed me from Blog Talk Radio, where I hosted the show for 11 years. So all the episodes are here. There are over 300 if you're interested in checking out any by the topic, and you can see them there. I'm a certified angel card reader, an angel intuitive, and I do life coaching. So you can look at my website, which is bcalvanocoaching.com, to get more information and how you could book a one-on-one session with me on Zoom. And also I do have them in Manhattan in person. So all of that information is at my website. It's a great time to get a 10-card reading or more on what's going on with you, what angels are there to support you with what you're up to, and what you're interested in creating for this new year. And yes, and also I will be having one of my angel circles, which is basically a gathering of those interested in receiving angel messages and healing. And it will be on February 21st, my birthday, and at 7 o'clock Eastern. That will be posted on my website also. So I look forward to having you be with me and creating a very powerful event for receiving guidance and doing a very deep healing meditation. So today I was guided to use the Mary Magdalene Oracle by Meggan Watterson. And if you followed me for a long time, you know that I don't teach one religion here. I teach about being a spiritual person. So you find the higher power, your God, goddess of your own understanding. But I like to teach stories and information from different paths to help get across a point. And one of the issues I've been dealing with and I was guided to share about was anger. I think many of us had a lot of emotions in the month of January, especially here in the United States. And I'm going to say that over the course of my lifetime, I have processed a lot of my emotions. But boy, oh boy, did I've really got pulled in the direction of just being really, really angry. And we're human, so it's perfectly natural. But what I got to see the angels telling me is this. Something I also had learned from the AA 12-step rooms, which I've been a part of for 34 years, is something called HALT. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. And if any of these things gets out of balance, you probably could very well pick up again, whatever your particular addiction is, but also that it's kind of dangerous just to be so imbalanced. And my anger with what's going on in this country with the politics was just really stressing me out, to the point where you're like almost grinding your teeth. And what I saw was that it was really, for me, to learn to let go of this. It's okay to have a vision, but the energy itself was starting to really affect my body. And there's nothing that me physically being angry is doing any good. So I share this with you because some of us may have had this experience also, if not politics, maybe something else going on in our lives where we've been really upset with. And the upset itself is real, something that could possibly be changed. But our holding on to this energy in our body really... it's a very strong energy that can start to really affect your immune system. That's pretty much what I'm going to say there. And it's not easy to be peaceful when we see and hear things that we know shouldn't be happening. But many things are happening because they need to be revealed and seen as for what they are. And in the process, we as a community who want to change the world for the better can start finding of positive ways and to do it. And there are possibilities. There definitely are. And we are in the midst of a big transformation. Otherwise, a lot of this stuff that is so, I'm going to say disgusting, so like unspeakable, are coming up for us to see what can we as individuals do in our personal lives and in our communities so that we can co-create with our guides, our angels, our higher power, our God and Goddess of our own understanding to create a better world. So there's a lot of work to be done. And over the 11, 12 years that I've been talking about angels, the whole idea is that we have partners. We definitely have partners in this endeavor. And when we call upon them and we learn how to use their messages and their assistance, we can create more flow. And there has been what's called a tipping point. One may not see it per se, but there's a tipping point of the number of people who are on board meditating, doing their centering work, their energy channeling work to shift from the dark to the light. That's all I'm going to say about that. But there's enough of us who are seeking to ground and channel and accept the wisdom of the ages, which has come here for us to use to create this new world for everyone, meaning equality in finances and abundance and resources, a leveling out where it's been particularly imbalanced, especially with money in the world, finances. So there's a lot happening, and the shift is happening. And how we know that is you can see so much of the not so great stuff coming to the surface. So the light is shedding light on what needs to be looked at, and it's not so pretty in many ways. But we have resources, and Let's Ask the Angels is all about us partnering with our positive energy that wants to assist us. And for many, it might look like intuition. For some, it may feel like a real angel, but for others, it might be great ideas that not only inspire, but create action for us to take. So we're not alone in this struggle of being human. So that being said, I'm using the Mary Magdalene Oracle cards, and you can see these on my website, which is bcalvanocoaching.com. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, I will be sending it out, and you can see the images. It's great to look at them sometimes when you're hearing the message also, because sometimes you're going to pick up something that I'm not saying, and that's all part of you using your sensory, your psychic abilities also. So here we go. This is from Meggan Watterson, who is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author of Mary Magdalene Revealed, the book. She is a feminist theologian with a Master of Theological Studies from Harvard Divinity School and a Master of Divinity from Union Theological Seminary. And she's the founder of the House of Mary Magdalene, a spiritual community that practices the teachings of the Gospel of Mary. So this is incredible. I was guided to use this deck, and I pulled some cards, and then I was guided to pull these different cards, and here they are. So the first one is the seventh power, and it is rage, and anger is information. And it talks about here, it has felt significant to me that rage is the seventh power. Rage can be the most railing force in our lives. But first, it's crucial to distinguish between the rage that brings destruction and the rage that brings clarity, because it is energy, and it is energy of our heart, of our physical being, of our ancestors. And it's one thing if we keep it all inside. It's another thing if we let it just continue to stir inside of us. But it's a whole other thing when we let it out and we actually create some actions that we can use. So the oppressive need to appear good, to not express what we truly feel, forces many of us to stay stuck in the process of healing from trauma. There's a false narrative that to be spiritual, you have to be in some perpetual state of bliss or peace and never fall to the ground in a fit of rage. And again, I'm reading from the booklet for these oracle cards. Being angry is human, and being human is holy. Anger is information. Anger informs us, connects us to our humanity, and reminds us of what we care most about in our lives. When we have been traumatized, there's a sacred rage that needs to be expressed in order for us to reclaim our voice. And I will be doing a separate podcast on the 33 lessons of the throat chakra for our voice. So that form of rage is clarifying. It helps us to begin to set boundaries as an act of love for ourselves. So the difference between rage that clarifies and the rage that destroys is that one is simply experienced directly and the other one is acted upon. Anger informs me, but love is what I let guide me and when I'm ready to take action. So again, anger informs me, but love is what I let guide me when I'm ready to take action. Again, if we do not take action on our anger, it stays inside of us and can very well make us sick. All kinds of sickness. It's a big, it's probably the most powerful energy next to love, but it can be very destructive. So here we go. At the end of Mary's gospel, after Mary has shared the teachings she learned from Christ directly from within her heart, Peter doesn't believe her. He doesn't believe Mary because she's a woman and was considered less worthy in rights and power in the first century Roman Empire. Peter's rage clouds his ability to hear the truth and what Mary has to teach them. Levi, one of the other disciples, confronts Peter and says, "You are always ready to give way to your perpetual inclination to anger, and even now you are doing exactly that by questioning the woman as though you're her adversary." Peter is unable to see that it's rage that keeps him from wanting to believe Mary. The seventh power at work within him will silence and erase Mary's voice for almost 2 millennia. But as one of the 7 powers of the ego, even rage is not everlasting. Only love is. So what information is my anger revealing to me in this moment? Now, there are some who will hold on to anger almost unconsciously from this life and past lives, ancestral patterns from families, generations and generations. For many people, this is the life where they make a turn, actually end the ancestral patterns. What does that take? It takes being present to the anger and choosing to make a choice. They're choosing to make a new choice. Not easy, but many of us are up to it. So that's the first card. Now the second card is the Alpha and Omega. Every ending is a new beginning. So again, I'm sharing information from Meggan Watterson, which is from her Mary Magdalene deck, and a lot of it is Christ's teaching. And again, I share different stories from different paths to help wisdom, to share information. So Christ's parable of the vineyard workers describes a man who arrives in a vineyard late in the day, and yet he's given the same amount of pay for his brief labor as those who have been hard at work since dawn. Christ explains that in the world to come, or in the world that already exists invisibly within this one, those who are last shall be first, and the first last. That's from Matthew 20:16. Now this doesn't seem fair, though, or just. And that's precisely what the parable is meant to do. It's meant to get us all caught up in our ego so that we can release it. If we really focus on what's fair according to the ego, we get tied up in the feeling as if we're being cheated or betrayed. This comes from the ego's fear that there's only so much treasure to go around. And I think you and I could agree that a lot of people have this. You may not even feel like you have it because it's so in our society that who deserves and who doesn't deserve. Going on and on and on. So we think this laborer who only showed up at the work, who just showed up as the work was almost over will take from what we would have received. According to the ego, what others get, we miss out on. There isn't a concept of plenty, only lack and scarcity. The ego can't conceive of an unconditional love that isn't concerned with what's fair when it comes to who can receive it. So we're talking about a big love, an unlimited amount of energy. But we have been wired for centuries, for thousands of years, to come from resisting, attacking, watching what others have. What do I have? Well, people were merging into a new world. The treasure is for everyone who shows up, whether we're only just started the work now or we've been laboring in the name of love for our entire lives. Love is here for all of us, equally. Love operates on a system that's limitless, and this feels entirely unfair to the ego. And when we realize this, that the last shall be first and the first last, the ego is released. And what had felt like a painful betrayal or an unjust situation expands into something new. We can revel in the unreasonable abundance of love. Now, I know a lot of people who have family issues when someone dies and there's a will, and all of a sudden, why is this person getting this when I did this, and who's deserving, who's undeserving? Lives are completely torn apart by this whole idea of who deserves what. I know you have seen this. And then we can see this on a bigger scale in our society. The alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet, and the omega is the last. So this is the practice to keep releasing the ego, which means having massive amounts of mercy on ourselves and others. We keep reaching the omega point so we can rise again, which means starting over, going back to the beginning. Humble, human, more merciful, more in love. So the message is, what egoic story can I release right now so I can start again? Another way to say it is, what story is causing you suffering? What ideas and thoughts are causing you suffering that you can release right now so you can start again? I could spend the whole year on this message. And then the last card is angels. I have never been alone. So Mary Magdalene loved equally Christ's physical body and his intangible soul. So after Christ is crucified by the Roman Empire, she goes searching for his body. In the dark, alone, and after she finds the tomb empty, she starts weeping, because Mary, like Christ, is also human. According to the Gospel of John, a voice then asks Mary, "Why are you weeping?" Mary looks up to see who asked her this question, and she can suddenly perceive two angels standing before her. They're standing at the places where Christ's head and feet had been. She tells them she's weeping because they have taken Christ's body away and she doesn't know where. The angels are facing her so they can see who is already standing behind her as she's speaking. She's standing there thinking she is without Christ, where they can clearly see that he is right there beside her. Mary turns and hears Christ ask the exact same question. The angels asked her, "Why are you weeping?" She doesn't recognize Christ at first. She thinks he's the gardener. So she asks him if he took Christ's body away. Christ then says, "Mary," and in hearing her name and his voice, Mary knows immediately who is standing before her. Rabboni, she explains, which is ancient Hebrew for teacher. This moment is the memory that we're never alone, even as we're weeping on our knees in the dark. All the love we can ever imagine is already right here, where love remains, within the human heart. This moment is the memory that love is stronger than death. So whether you're Christian or not, this truly is about love. The love that you're seeking is right there in your heart. That person, that pet, the longing is right within you, right with you. The power that you're seeking, the confidence is right there in your heart. The strength that you're seeking is right there. It's right there. It's standing right next to you. It is in your heart. So this moment is the memory that it's often when we're at our most human, bereft, heartbroken, and vulnerable that the angels can finally be heard. This moment is the memory that the energy of love is the bridge between the worlds. The paradox in being human is that when we're humble enough to feel the depths of our grief, we are directly connected to the experience of how love never ends. We are directly connected to all the love that constantly calls out to us invisibly from within. One of the ways in which we can do this, like to hear this, to hear the angels, is to be sober, to be healthy. Because if you are covering up your senses with substances and things to your body, you're definitely putting up obstacles and barriers that you cannot hear authentic messages. It's that simple. You might think you're hearing things, but it could be convoluted by chemicals and things that are really not so great for you. So it's like removing these walls and barriers. Try to have a pure diet, try to have healthy exercise, try to not numb yourself with things, because that in itself is blocking the pathways of how the angels want to communicate with you. And if you have quit addictive behaviors and whatnot, sometimes you have to heal the patterns, because there's a lot of shame in and around the behavior, and that also can cloud your ability to listen and hear. So there's work to be done, but it's all doable. It's all absolutely doable. So the message here is this: what are my angels saying to me in this moment? What are my angels saying to me in this moment? And if you want further practice with that, you can get an angel card deck yourself and pull cards for yourself and begin to create that connection with your angels around you. You could book a session with me. We can go in depth for an hour and a half about what angels are with you and whatnot. But the main thing is to practice being authentic and as pure in vibration as possible. What you put in your body, eat, drink, hear, thought, the people you're in and around with tend to be frequencies. What you listen to and look at on social media is a frequency also. How do you get to set point, that natural point of peace and serenity? Walk in nature. It really sounds kind of boring and like almost too simple, but it is that simple. And sometimes it's not until someone has a rock bottom experience where they're like, all right, I give up, I surrender, that they begin to take away things that they know are not helping them. So we have this opportunity in this lifetime to achieve mastery. And what does mastery mean? To achieve a type of enlightenment, peace and serenity. We're in a time right now, as we have seen in January, with a lot of energy, harsh energy. It's bringing up a lot of trauma for people. So all of that can be brought to the surface even more and released. And how is it released? When we are present to the experience from our past and past lives at our utmost abilities. By re-experiencing in its way, it can almost evaporate, disappear. And that includes everything that has happened to us. So many of us are on a path of spiritual enlightenment. We've said yes to bring it on, all the things that we need to work through. So if you're going through a lot of issues and situations, you very well may have made a contract to achieve a high level of spiritual mastery in this lifetime. Yeah, and it's not for everyone, but there are many of you who know who you are, and it's actually quite a beautiful thing, because the energy that you become, you radiate to others. And those who are unconscious, they are affected by your energy. Period. And that's how many of us are doing the work to help the world. You don't necessarily have to have a podcast or even be a healer, but by you doing your life to the best of your ability, you are changing the world. Most people are in the mode of survival mostly. How do I survive out of this? How do I cheat and steal so that I can have more than the other person? Then there are other people who are examining themselves very deeply in their actions in their life, and they're starting to see that there is another way. There's a more peaceful way, so that we can all have all that we need. So those are the messages for the February. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this, share information on something that I use on a daily basis. And there's a book I highly recommend by Diana Cooper called The Golden Future, What to Expect and How to Reach the Fifth Dimension. What is the fifth dimension other than a song by that group, right, in the 60s or 70s? It is all about what I've just been talking about. Instead of just reacting, continued reacting, which we have done for thousands of years, but beginning to live from our heart, being able to see our reaction, but then choose to take the action of a peaceful response. And this is not easy because we can see in the world all of the things that we need to address that have been there all along, but all of a sudden everything is intensifying. And it very well may be continuing this way for the rest of the year. So create a spiritual toolkit and really use it. And know that just because in the past you used, many of us used anger as a form of power. And what we have found is that all of a sudden we're not able to create abundance. We can't create the things we want to because you can only create from a state of joy. And how do you, you could say to me, how can you be joyful with all this suffering going around? You find it within yourself. Within yourself, you can still witness all the atrocities and things going on in the world, but you in yourself can create a state of grace. And that state of grace can impact, a huge mileage around you. And it creates more clarity in your mind, and it invites abundance in terms of ideas and resources for you to accomplish your mission. But if you're in a state of rage and such that it literally will cloud your ability to see possibility, and it'll be an energy that people will not want to be around. You'll attract more people at that vibration, which it might be great for a petition or something, but if you want to create stability in your life and resources and abundance so you can truly make a difference in the world, you're going to have to find a state of joy and peace and surrender within seeing all the suffering in the world, much like Mother Teresa did. She was able to help so many people, and she had nothing really other than her state of grace and surrender, and she was able to channel and then find the words and find what to say in order to create the connections to accomplish her job and her mission. So one of the things that I do is I use this incredible book called The Golden Future. It has so many resources in it, and I wanted to share one of them. Let's see. So what do you do when you walk around in the world in terms of, there's a lot of energy. So how do you shield yourself? How do you protect yourself so that you don't absorb everybody's craziness and whatnot? So we've heard about wearing a black stone, an obsidian works well and whatnot, but there are some powerful ascension exercises that have been channeled to Diana Cooper from the times of Atlantis, 10,000 years ago or more, and these things work. I used them during the pandemic. I used them to heal myself when I had COVID. I could go on and on. So this is called the Ascension Flames for Purification and Protection. And basically you visualize and invoke and also try to see the colors and everything. And by doing this, basically it's a visual and mental exercise, but it is a technique that offers tremendous amount of serenity. So here it is, the Ascension Flames for Purification, and we use 3 of them to compound the energies together. So here it says, many masters and all the archangels can place over us their awesome ascension flames containing the concentrated light of their creator and special keys to their qualities, which can ignite your own latent potential. When an ascension flame is placed over you, It will instantly raise your frequency and accelerate your ascension path. So, and you can also send them to other people. The golden Christed flame. The golden Christed flame is one of the most beautiful, powerful energies. It is held by Jesus, who is now the bringer of cosmic love. The golden Christed flame raises your frequency and touches you with wisdom. The Christ light within it protects your energy fields, heals you, and bathes you in unconditional love. At the same time, it can purify you right down to a cellular level. Now, it's important to be able to separate what you were raised with, or you have any negative ideas about the religion and Christianity. This is the energies of Christ, the pure energy. So we have the golden Christed flame, then we have the violet flame. And Saint Germain and Archangel Zadkiel hold the violet flame. So this is an intensely powerful flame used for transmutation. Because its power was being misused at the fall of Atlantis, it was withdrawn and returned to the inner places. As the frequency of humanity started to rise, we earned the right to use it again. And at the harmonic convergence in 1987, it was brought back for everyone to use. So it is placed over your energy fields. It opens them up, so they should be used wisely and with protection. So the violet flame has shifted to different colors. Choose the one that fits you the most. A few years ago, it was gold and silver flames merged and became the gold and silver violet flame. And then it became the Archangel Gabriel added his energy, and it evolved into the cosmic diamond violet flame. And its latest upgrade is the lilac fire of source. So using your intuition, you'll know which colors really work for you. I will go from the deep violet all the way to the lilac myself. And then the pure white flame of Atlantis. So this one protects you from the effects of any lower energies you may be attracting, especially from Atlantean times. And these are even past lives for you. When you have received it, you may wish to concentrate it in the palm of your hands, and then you can touch others with it too. It holds the keys and codes of Atlantis and can light up those within your energy fields that you are ready to bring forward. So what you do is you're going to call on the golden Christed flame and let it come down through your body and fill your aura. And this raises your frequency and protects your energy fields. And then you can safely bring in the violet flame down into each of your chakras. And when I invoke the three flames together, I use the raw power of the violet flame alone. It helps to imagine or visualize violet flames flickering in each center. And the centers of your chakras are the stellar gateway, soul star, causal, and then your crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, navel, sacral, base, and deep within the earth star. And then take a moment to prepare yourself before you invoke the pure white flame of Atlantis. And be aware of Serapis Bey holding this vast, extraordinary flame and placing it slowly over the other two flames that unfold you. Sit or stand in the three flames and relax. This potent combination is the ultimate in purification. Together, these three ascension flames can transmute any dark energies that are around you and also protect you from psychic attack. Never underestimate the power of the three flames of purification. So we're talking gold, Christ flame, the violet flame, and then the white, pure white flame of Atlantis. Simple colors, but when you do this with intention, try it and see what happens. I did it when there was a really annoying person at my yoga studio, and I knew I had to walk by him. And I said, I need to start using my protection because I easily got agitated by his energy, and there's a whole story behind this person being there, but it worked. It really does work. So we do this type of work at my Angel Circle, which I will be having on February 21st, and on Zoom at 7 p.m. Eastern. And find out all about that at my website, bcalvanocoaching.com. And also, if you'd like to do a one-on-one session with me on Zoom, I'm available. And you can check my calendar also at the website for information. I wish you the very, very best, and it's going to be a great year when we use our spiritual toolkit and we can navigate these roller coaster energies and have a very, very blessed day. Thank you.